So now what? Are you going to take accountability and create a new life, or keep complaining about how your current life is not fair? Let me tell you a quick story about friend of the channel, Alex Sayen, who helps me run Toronto Dance Salsa. Alex was a student at TDS for a number of years and badly wanted to be a helper. Helpers are advanced students who then help volunteer their time to help out the other students. He was rejected. He was rejected over and over and over again that he was not good enough to be a helper. Finally, he got accepted to be a helper. His next step was he wanted to be assistant, then he wanted to be an instructor, and over and over and over again. While people were getting promoted and given opportunities, Alex just didn't have the material. Alex kept getting said, no, you're not ready, you have to fix this, you gotta fix that, you're not good enough yet. Keep going home, keep working on it. Eventually he got to the point where Sharon, who is the original owner of the studio, said, okay Alex, I'm gonna train you to be an instructor. Years after where most people would have been given the opportunity, Alex finally earned his way in. It's easy for him to have said, hey, it's not fair. Why are other people getting opportunities ahead of me? Hey, it's not fair on me. But he kept going. He kept working. He kept grinding. Then disaster struck. Finally, he got that opportunity, right? To be trained to be an instructor. And then Sharon, the lead instructor, hurt her back and couldn't train with him. So she asked me to come in and help teach the class. There's a problem though. You can't have two guys at the front of a class. I couldn't dance with Alex. That's not traditionally how classes are run. So Alex was defeated. Finally, he had worked so hard to get this opportunity, and then he realized, I'm gonna have to go back to just being on the sidelines because Emma's gonna come in and teach the class. Now, I didn't think Alex was ready. I had known him for a number of years. I didn't think he was responsible enough. I didn't think he had what it took. But because Sharon had made a deal with him, I decided I would honor that deal. And on the day that he came to pick me up to go to the studio, I said, Alex, we got two options. The class is happening tonight. Either I could run the class and do it and you can sit on the sidelines and watch, or you can run the class and I'll sit on the sidelines and I will guide and mentor you. You get to pick, but you have to decide right now because we're driving the class and we're going to be there in 15 minutes. What do you want to do? And to my, not just surprise, but also admiration, he said, I want to do it. He wasn't quite ready to take on the whole class, but he said, I'm going to do it. And he went up and he did it. Was it amazing? No, but it was momentum. And he kept going. And now, fast forward to today, if you gave me a brand new salsa student and said, this person has to learn salsa and I wanted to have a fun time doing it, I would put money on Alex over anybody in the world to give them the best possible experience. I would. From a guy who I didn't believe would be a good instructor to now being the best in the world. How? Well, he had to overcome all of these things that weren't fair. He had to overcome growing up having super sweaty hands and not being able to touch a girl, so he never learned to dance until he became an adult. He had to overcome years of people passing him by, getting opportunities ahead of him because he wasn't good enough. He had to overcome waiting to get his chance to be trained to be an instructor. And then finally, here it is, it all happens. And it looks like the whole thing is gonna get ripped away from him because the woman who was training him couldn't teach anymore. And then he had one shot. And that's all it takes. You will get your one shot. You will get your one shot. If you keep going, you will get your one shot. If you take accountability, you will get your one shot. What do you do when you get your one shot, but you feel like you're not ready yet? Because that's the pivotal moment where you can decide, I'm going to fall back to the life that I had, or I'm going to step forward into a brave new world that I don't know how it exists yet. And I'm scared, and I'm not ready, but I'm going to take it. But if Alex told himself, it's not fair that all these things have happened to me, he would never got his one shot. It wouldn't happen. And so I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can make Alex's story your story. That you can make every success story, every person you look up to, their success story can be your story using this 3-step process. Here we go. Step number 1, get clear on what you want. What do you want? Make it super clear. You can't just want a better life. What does that look like? Get super clear on what it is that you are going after. Write it down. 1 sentence. Make it clear for yourself. Make it clear for the people around you. Make it clear for anybody who comes in contact with you. Say, hey, what do you want? This is what I want. I have absolute focus. And when people look at you and say, You're never going to do that. Look at where you're coming from. That's okay, because you have direction, right? The world gets out of the way for the person who knows what they want. You need to get clear on what you want. Get it down to one sentence. Step number 2 is study 3 people who've done it before. Study 3 people who have done exactly the thing that you want to do. Look at them. Look at how they started, right? Not how they're winning now. Amazing. Started. How did they get started? What were the obstacles they had to overcome? Because chances are they had to overcome a lot of obstacles. And in looking at their stories, it gives you 2 things. It gives you 1, motivation to see where they came from to where they are now. That's motivation. And 2, it gives you tactics, gives you strategies, gives you ideas. You get to learn how they overcame those obstacles, that feeling of it's not fair, that feeling of I don't have the resources to help me go, and then boom, they go off and blow up. If Alex looked at Sharon, who started the school, Sharon started it as an adult. She didn't have dancing growing up. She started as an adult. She was the worst dancer of her friends when she started to learn. She was the worst. One of the first guys to dance with her left her in the middle of a song on the dance floor. For a lot of people, that'd be soul crushing. That would be, it's not fair. It's not fair. I didn't go to school for this. I didn't learn this growing up. I'm trying to learn this as an adult. I don't have what it takes. It's not fair. It's not fair for that guy to be so mean. It's not fair. Great. She said, you know what? Yeah, it's not fair, but I'm going to keep going. So study 3 people who've done exactly the thing that you want to do. Learn from them, get motivated by them, and use their strategies to work for you. And step number 3 is create CEO time. You need to create CEO time. CEO time means you're working on being the CEO of your business and your life. The CEO, that big goal that you set in step number 1, that demands a CEO. If you want that goal to happen, you need to step up and be the CEO of architecting that goal into existence. And so you need to have CEO time somewhere in your calendar. You need to pull out your calendar, however you're using it, if it's Google Calendars or Notebook or whatever you're using, and every week there needs to be a chunk of time, a window of CEO time. And in that time, you're going to be spending your absolute focus on driving that number 1 goal into fruition, creating it into existence. So when is that going to happen for you? Pull out your calendar and make it happen. If you're only spending half an hour a week on CEO time, well, your goal is going to come to you very slowly. Most of the world wakes up and has 0 CEO time. You're just in reaction complaining mode. So half an hour is better than nothing. But can you spend 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, more? CEO time. Not reacting to people, not getting distracted, not working on projects that other people want you to work on. Every week, put into your calendar right now, block it off, put gates around it so people don't trample all over your time. You got to protect it. Because if you're not spending time on CEO time every week, you're not building the life that you want. If you want another Evan Rant video that just might give you the confidence you need, check it out right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.